Good day, students. Today we want to solve problem under polynomial that involve findings of the unknown. Please, when you look at the question, please study it appropriately. You can see that in the question we are told that if the polynomial x raised to power 3 plus px squared plus qx minus 6 has a factor x minus 1 and leaves a remainder of minus 24 when divided by x plus 1. We have to look for the p and q and also factorize the polynomial completely and find its 0. There are some key points you must know when you are solving a problem that involves looking for the unknown when you are given a factor. When you are told that it has a factor, you must know that when the number is a factor, the remainder must be 0. When you hear this word factor, the remainder must be 0. What we mean by that is that when you substitute the value of x into this expression, you equate it to 0. Like as you're having x minus 1 now say x minus 1 equals to 0, x equals 0 plus 1 equals to 1. What we now do is that f of 1 now substitute to it, to this expression, and because it has a factor, we now equate the expression to 0. We are going to see it in the example, in this example. Now, let's see. And also, we are told to factorize the polynomial completely and find is 0. 0 does not mean it's automatically 0, but what it means that when you substitute the value of x into the polynomial, it must give you 0. We are going to see it. But let's start with the first one. The equation is f of x equals x raised to power 3 plus p x squared plus qx minus 6. Now we have f of x. Before you look for f of x, know that x minus 1 equals to 0, x equals 0 plus 1, and considering this first one, there is a factor equal to 1. Okay, now we are going to substitute x equals to 1 in this our f of x. Now f of 1 equals 1 raised to power 3 plus p into 1 squared plus q into 1 minus 6. Since it's a factor, x minus 1 is a factor, you now equate it to 0, because when you have it as a factor, the remainder is always 0 when it's a factor. Okay, you have to equate it to 0 because of this factor. Now forget, when you equate it to 0, you forget about f of 1. Concentrate on this expression. Now 1 cubed, that's 1, plus 1 squared times p, that's p, plus q times 1, that's q, minus 6 equals to 0. Let's collect the like terms. P plus q plus 1 minus 6 equals to 0. P plus q, 1 minus 6, that's minus 5 equals to 0. P plus q, take minus 5 to the other side, equals to 0 plus 5. P plus q equals 5. That's our equation 1. Equation 1. And let's see the second question. And leaves a remainder of minus 24 when divided by x plus 1. We are not told there is a factor. What we need to do here is to say x plus 1 equals to 0. Now x equals 0 minus 1. When you take plus 1 cross equal sign, equals to minus 1. Okay, we are substituting x equals to minus 1 into the general equation. F into minus 1 equals minus 1 raised to power 3 plus p into minus 1 squared plus q into minus 1 minus 6. The remainder is minus 24 when divided by x plus 1, and now equate it to minus 24. Forget about f into minus 1 because we have equated it already to minus 24. I'm concentrating on this expression. Minus 1 cubed, that's minus 1. Minus 1 squared, that's 1. That's plus q plus p. And minus 1 times q, that's minus q minus 6 equals minus 24. Let's correct the items. P minus q minus 1 minus 6 equals minus 24. P minus q minus 1 minus 6, that's minus 7 equals minus 24. P minus q, take minus 7 across equals sign equals minus 24 plus 7. Okay, now minus 24 plus 7, that is minus 17. P minus q equals minus 17. Now this is our equation 2. Now we are looking for p, find the constants p and q. Now let's write this equation together. So I'll see p plus q equals to 5, equation 1, and also p minus q equals to minus 17, equation 2. Okay, now what you need to do that you can say look for p or q depending on what you want to do first. But let me say add equation 1 and 2 and equation 2 together. When you do that, now with p, adding it, p plus p plus q plus minus q, we're adding it together, equals 5 plus minus 17. This minus q cancel plus q, we have 2p equals 5, positive and negative as negative, as minus 5 minus 17. Now 2p equals 5 minus 17, that is minus 12. Divide both sides by 2. 2 cancel 2, 2 1, 2 6. Our p equals minus 6. Our p equals minus 6. Now let's substitute p in p equals to minus 6 in equation 1 to get our q. P, we have it to be minus 6. Minus 6 plus q equals to 5. Take minus 6 across equal sign, turn to positive. Q equals 5 plus 6 equals to 11. Therefore, our P equals to minus 6, Q equals to 11. These are the constants that we have. Now, what we need to do now is to factorize. Let's substitute back into the equation. Okay, f of x equals x cubed plus, sorry, minus negative and positive turn to negative, negative and positive turn to negative, minus 6x raised to power 2 plus 11x minus 6. Okay, as a factor of x minus 1, and we have to factorize the problem completely and find its zeros. What we need to do now is that we put the dividend. This is the dividend, what you are dividing. X is equal to 3 minus 6x squared plus 11x minus 6 divided by, what we are looking for is zeros, divided by x minus 1. Since it's a factor, we must get the remainder to be 0. It's a factor. That's where we now get our zeros that we are looking for. And you know that the 0 does not necessarily mean that the numbers are zeros, but when you impute those numbers that we are going to get into the polynomial, this polynomial must give us 0. Now x minus 1 goes in x cubed minus 6x squared plus 11x minus 6. Let's consider this x squared first. What can you multiply this x with that will give us s cubed? Now let's consider this s cubed, that's x squared. When you multiply x with this x squared, you give us s cubed. You now use minus 1 also to multiply to get what you are going to put here. X times x squared, as x cubed, minus 1 times x squared, as minus x squared. When you do subtraction, is 0 minus 6x squared minus x squared, as minus 5x squared. Bring this one down, that's plus 11x. Now consider this. What can you multiply with this x that will give us minus 5x squared? That's minus 5x. Now x times minus 5x will give us minus 5x squared. Minus 1 times minus 5x, that will give us plus 5x. Let's do the subtraction again. Let's see whether it's subtraction. When you put negative here, minus 5x squared minus 5x squared give us minus 5x squared plus 5x squared. This one will be 0. Now don't forget that we're going to bring this minus 6 now down, minus 6. Okay, now what are you going to multiply? Okay, let's do subtraction first. 11x minus 5x, that's 6x minus 6. Okay, so this minus 6 will be here, will come here, not here. This 11 comes down, you subtract, you have this minus 6 will come down here. Now what can you multiply with 6? Multiply with x, that will give us 6x. What are you going to multiply with x that will give us 6x? That's plus 6. X times 6 will give us 6x. Minus 1 times 6 will give us minus 6. Now from here, now you do your subtraction. Negative, you must get a 0. 6x minus 6x is 0. Minus 6x minus 6 minus 6 minus 6 minus 6 plus 6 will give us 0. And see, it is 0, 0. To show that it is a factor, and see that it gives us 0. Now I want to get those numbers now. factorize it and find its zeros. Find its zeros. Now we now have factor to be x, f of x. Now f of x equals x minus 1. Multiply this with this, x squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay, now let's factorize this x squared minus 5x plus 6, x squared minus 5x plus 6. Coefficient of x squared is 1, multiplied by this 6 equal to 6. Now you have to think of two numbers that when you multiply together you give us this 6, when you add it together you give us minus 5. Now minus 2 times minus 3 will give us 6, minus 2 plus minus 3 will give us minus 5. We are taking these numbers, let's replace it. X squared minus 2x minus 3x plus 6. Let's factorize it. Now what's common? X into what's remaining? X minus 2. What's common? Minus 3 is common. X negative and positive as negative. 3 goes in 6 as 2. And when you are factorizing, immediately you see two expressions in the bracket that are the same, that means that you are right. If they are not the same, that means that you are wrong. Now you pick one out of the two. X minus 2, x minus 3. Write the outside one, bring it out. Now let's see. Now f of x now. F of x equals, we write this one first. X minus 1. Now bring this one, x minus 2, x minus 3. You can see it. But we are looking for the numbers. Find its zeros. Okay, let's pick this first one first. X minus 1 equals to 0. X equals 0 plus 1 equals to 1. X minus 2 equals to 0. X equals 0 plus 2 equals to 2. X minus 3 equals to 0. X equals to 0. When you take across equal sign, you turn to positive, plus 3 equals to 3. Okay? Its zeros. Its zeros are 1, 2, and 3. How do you know it's 1, 2, and 3? Now when you substitute these numbers into this our general expression, which is x cubed minus 6x squared plus 11x minus 6 will give us 0. Now let's confirm it. Let's confirm it. Now let's see when x equals to 1. Let's start with the first one. Let's see our x now. F of x equals x raised to power 3 minus 6x squared plus 11x minus 6. Now let's see when f of 1 must give us 0. 1 raised to power 3 minus 6 into 1 squared plus 11x, plus 11 times 1 minus 6, because 1 cubed, that's 1, minus 6 times 1, that's minus 6, plus 11 minus 6. Now f of 1 equals 11, let's call it like 1 plus 11 minus 6 equals 12 minus 12 equals to 0. Can you see? Now, when x equals to 2, let's try that. F of 2 equals 2 raised to power 3 minus 6 into 2 squared plus 11 multiplied by 2 minus 6 plus 2 raised to power 3, that's 8, minus 2 squared, that's 4. 4 times 6, 24, minus 24 plus 22 plus 22. Let's write it better way. Plus 2 raised to power 3, that's 8, minus 2 squared, that's 4. 4 times 6, 24, minus 24 plus 22 minus 6. Now let's parallel times, that's 22 plus 8, that is a 30, minus 24 minus 6, that's minus 30 equals to 0 when x equals to 3. Now f of 3 equals 3 raised to power 3 minus 6 times 3 squared plus 11 by 3 minus 6. F of 3 equals 3 raised to power 3, that's 27 minus 6 times 9, okay, plus 33 minus 6. Now we have 27 minus 6 times 9, that's 54, minus 54 plus 33 minus 6. Now let's bring the left hand together. Equals 27 plus 33, that's 60 minus 54 minus 6, that is minus 60. 60 minus 60 is 0. Can you see that those numbers give us zeros? That's why I say it's zeros are 1, 2, and 3. This is the end of our class. Please subscribe to my channel so that I can have access to the latest video. Have a wonderful day.